Let's see. Okay. So in the last class, what we have done? Last class we have done the transmissibility, right? And we have shown that the expression for the transmissibility is same whether it is a force transmissibility or displacement transmissibility. Force transmissibility means that is the force is transmitted to the foundation from the structure machines, rotating machines, like as an example. And another is that some system is there and the base is moving. So how much displacement it is transferring to the main system from the base. So that is the displacement transmissibility. And you have seen the plot and we have seen some important characteristic of that plot also. So again, just I will repeat the the same equation of motion again here. So that basically we have solved this equation, right? You remember subject some force is Ft, where this force is nothing but harmonic force F naught cosine omega t, where omega is the force in frequency. And we solve it and we find out that the solution is x cosine omega t minus phi, where phi is the phase angle and x is the amplitude of the displacement. And this is the steady state and we are interested on that only. Okay? And we have seen x is nothing but delta st into m, right? So x equals to your delta st into m, because x by delta st is the magnification factor and m is the magnification factor, right? That expression you already know, and you also know the expression for the phi also, that is the phase angle, that is tan inverse 2r zeta divided by 1 minus r square, where r is the frequency ratio, that is the forcing frequency by the natural frequency of the system. Okay, so r equals to omega by omega n, where omega n equals to root over of k by n. So you have many times I have written this thing. Okay, so now just tell me one thing. So let's say I am plotting the response. I have already shown, I think, in one slide. So this I am plotting. So I am removing the transient response. I am not showing here. So let's say there is some only the steady state response I am showing. So it is like this, right? I mean, it is remaining the same and like this. Okay, as long as the forcing function is there. So now can you tell me? So this is one period, right? One period. So I can write t, right? So t equals to 2 pi by what? What it is? 2 pi by what?
Omega, sir.
Omega.
Yes, omega. So this is the forcing frequency, right? So that is what I start to emphasize. Now we are going to find out the energy dissipation due to the viscous damping, because we are considering the viscously damped system, that is the velocity proportional force is proportional to the velocity, and c is the coefficient of viscous damping, right? Okay, and this involves zeta, that is the damping ratio. Okay. Okay, so actually we are going to find out another way of finding the damping ratio, but before that we must derive some expression. Okay, so that expression is that how much energy is getting dissipated in each cycle of vibration. Okay, obviously damping is there, so energy is getting dissipated, and since the applied force is there, so there is some input energy also, or the work done by the external forces. Okay, so let us first discuss about the ED. Okay, so this is the ED is the energy dissipated, right, by viscous damping in one period of vibration, I can say, in one cycle, okay, during one cycle. So what is that? That you have already discussed, right? So that is basically C into x dot, that is the force, right? Cx dot into dx, right? That is the force, damping force, into the dx for differential displacement of dx. Okay, so that you have to integrate over that period, right? So that is 0 to t, actually that is 2 pi by omega. So one period, but one cycle you want to find out how much energy is dissipated. Now I have to convert it to the time, right? This I think I have shown earlier also, so I can write it very easily, that c x dot square, because I can write dx by dt into dt, right? So I can write x dot square dt, right? Got it? Okay. So now what is x? X is this, right? Okay. So just substitute here, perform the integral, and tell me the expression. Substitute here, perform the integration. Limit is there 0 to 2 pi by omega. Okay, one cycle. We are considering how much energy it is dissipating. Okay, this damping force, how much energy it is dissipated during one cycle of oscillation, because it is repeating, you see, with the same time period it is repeating. So just you want to find out in one cycle of oscillation how much energy it is dissipating. So that is integral of 0 to 2 pi by omega. Remember this omega, forcing frequency. C is the coefficient of viscous damping, x dot, okay, square, the time derivative of x into dt, substitute this x, because this you already obtained, right? This is the steady state response of the system subjected to harmonic loading f naught to sine omega t, right? So find out and write the final expression in terms of zeta, frequency ratio, all those whatever. Okay, and obviously x, capital X, okay, capital X, R, zeta. In terms of those you obtain. Good. Everybody understood what I am trying to say or what I asked you to do? I asked you to basically perform the integration, and it is not to just practice integration and just to find, in order to find out the how much energy the damping is dissipated by the damping, that is viscous damping, during one cycle of oscillation. So that is what I want to find out, and we are defining is that ED, dissipated energy. Okay. So what AD you are getting? Yeah, do the integration quickly. These are simple integrations you have to do. You cannot avoid integration. There is so much integration. It will come again, and we discuss about the impulse loading, arbitrary types of loading. Right? That time we will discuss about Duhamel's integral. So there also integration will come into the picture. So integration you cannot avoid. Unfortunately, people are not attending classes. Only 62 people I can see. Okay, if you understood by your own, that's fine. But still, it is better to attend classes also. This is, since this is a first course on structural dynamics for you. Yeah, what is the, after performing the integration? Yeah, do it. One more integration is coming down the road, so please do it now.
C omega square x.
No, forget about C. Just you convert it to zeta or. Okay, tell me C. I will do it. Okay, tell me. C.
C omega x square.
C omega x square.
Pi.
Pi. Okay. I can write y is equal to 2m omega zeta omega n, sorry, into omega, right, x square. Am I right? I don't know. Okay. So 2 pi. Okay. Now I want to write it r, right? So 2 pi, so omega by omega n, I'll write omega square, correct? So now omega square is k, zeta r k x square. Got it? Okay. So r, you know, forcing frequency by natural frequency, k is the stiffness and x is the amplitude. So I can say ed is proportional to square of the amplitude. Energy distribution is the proportional to the square of the amplitude. Very good. Those who have not able to do the integration, please do it. Okay, that is very straightforward. There's nothing is there. So now the next is the so we have got an expression, the energy distributed by the viscous damping in one cycle. Now I want to find out how much work done is there due to the external force, because there are external forces, right? This, if not cosine omega, this is the force. So I'll call it as a WF. So this is work done by the external force again during one cycle. One cycle of Asha. So one cycle, what is the work done? So what will be the work done? Tell me.
Sir, integral of force function into ds.
Correct. Integral of force constant. Very good. So again, it is a one period, so 2 pi by omega. So you can convert it to dt, right? And it has to be the minus sign, right? Because which, I mean, opposite to the viscous damping, right? So again, you convert it to, I mean, dx by dt. So then I can write basically minus 0 to 2 pi by omega. So ft is f naught cosine omega t, right? So dx by dt, so that is x dot to dt. Now x, you know, again substitute x here, perform the integration and tell me what is the expression. Understood? X equals to capital X cosine omega t minus g, right? Okay, so Ft is the external force, dx again is the infinitesimal differential, I mean displacement. So Ft dx is the work done by the force, force into displacement, work done, right? So the over one cycle, what is the time? 0 to 2 pi by omega. Now dx is there, but my range is as 0 to 2 pi by omega, right? So I have to convert it to dx. So dx equals to x dot dt. X I know, x equals to capital X cosine omega t minus 1. Okay, so I will substitute x dot here, perform the integration, and get the result. This is bit lengthy because you have to substitute something to get the result. I request everybody to please do these exercises. Okay, that is good for you.
Sir,
Yes.
so while putting x dot, x will take as x cos omega t minus 5 or x cos omega t just?
Why, teacher? I have already written here. And you have written, I mean, for this also you have used x dot equal to which one? This or this? It's cos omega t minus phi, right? Clear?
So phase angle will be 5 only.
Yeah. xt equals to x cos omega. This is the response, right? Xt. This is the force. Not cos omega t is the ft, and the dx is equals to x dot dt. So I'll substitute whatever x dot will come after differentiating the response. Like you have done, someone has done this one, right? That c x dot square. So here c and differentiate x, and then substitute there and do it. Yes. Too difficult. What are people doing? Come on, perform the integration and tell me. I'm writing here actually x is x cosine omega t minus. Yes. What you are getting? So you just differentiate x dot, then you'll get sine, right? So cos a sine b. So that you write something like the formula is there, right? Cos a sine b formula. So in terms of trigonometric identity. Something a plus b by 2 minus a minus b by 2 or something is there, right? So that you. Alright, come on. Yes, anybody, please. Then you can proceed ahead. Or you forget the formula. So go back to the mathematics books and see. I'm just searching the internet. Na? What is it?
Sir, I'm getting
Yeah.
minus x omega sine phi
No,
by omega.
minus x
F naught
f naught
sine phi pi.
sine
Sine phi. Sine phi pi.
and pi.
Yes, sir.
Pi is I can writing here. Minus you are getting, right?
Yes, sir.
Please check. Okay, anyway. So now you substitute. What is sine phi? Then you have done almost, right?
So from tan inverse we can get.
Yes. Tan phi is what? 2 zeta divided by 1 minus r square. So tan theta, tan phi you know. You can find out sin phi. Substitute there and tell me what finally you are getting. So you are getting minus sign after taking this minus, right? Remember.
Sir, I'm getting like minus pi x f naught 2 r zeta by 1 minus r square whole square plus 2 r zeta whole square.
Minus pi
X f naught
x f naught
2 r zeta
yes
by 1 minus r square whole square plus 2 r zeta whole square whole root. I mean for the denominator root.
right.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now what it is? So f naught by this is what? So you just convert it in terms of capital X. Try to introduce capital X. Okay. Or whatever you are getting. So f naught by this you know it, right? So this is the 1 by this is the magnification factor. Okay.
Then x square, sir, will come x square.
So finally what you are getting?
Minus pi x square 2 r zeta.
Pi
X square 2 r zeta, sir.
2 r zeta. Something you are missing. Just check it.
So I'm getting omega square also.
Check the calculation. Anybody else?
So this pi xf naught sin pi is one term. One more term is coming with it.
Here.
I'm converting it.
Yeah, tell me. Some calculation, just manipulation, nothing else. Try to introduce that relation. I mean, x by delta st your magnification factor, right? So this is your magnification factor. So that I can be it can be written as x by delta st. So delta st can be written as f naught by k, right? I can directly see here something is coming from this expression. How that can be missed? I can directly see from here to here. If I write it m, then m I can write it as x by delta st. So x is x square, delta st I write f naught by k. So k will be numerator, f naught cancel that. So definitely there will be k, right? Agree with me? Yes. Who told this? K will be there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So actually, after performing the integration, you get pi x f naught sin phi, right? Okay. So you can substitute sin phi. How will you get sin phi? Tan phi, you know right? There is a phase angle. Tan phi equal to 2 r zeta divided by 1 minus r square. So you can find out sin phi. So sin phi is basically 2 r zeta divided by root over of 1 minus r square whole square plus 2 r zeta whole square. So 1 by root over of this thing is nothing but m, magnification factor, right? So that is so 1 by this is m. So m I can write it as a x by delta st. I'll just write it here. So tell me just what it is. WF, work done by the external forces, is I x F naught, then 2R zeta into magnification factor, right? Am I right? This is magnification factor. Okay. We can substitute, right? Magnification factor is, instead of this I can write x by delta st. Now instead of delta st I can write F naught by k. Okay, F naught cancel out. So 2 pi r zeta x, sorry, k x square. Correct? This is WF. Just check it that this is same as the what you have obtained for the ED, that is energy dissipated by the viscous damping. Okay, in one cycle, 2 pi zeta r k x square. Here also same thing, r zeta x square. So that is equals to ED. Okay. So now this relationship we are going to use to find out the damping ratio. Okay, from our experiment. Okay, how to find it. The idea is that actually, so why we want to find out the damping ratio in this manner? Okay. So you see, real structure is very complicated. Okay, so in the real structure, so how the what is the way they are dissipating the energy? You do not know. There are many mechanisms that are happening, and through that it is the but energy is dissipating some. Okay. And we are considering this viscous damping, which is proportional to the velocity, the forces, that is Cx dot, to facilitate our analysis, right? The model to simplify our mathematical model so that the analysis becomes simpler. Okay, right? The viscous damping is the easiest model of the damping, simplest model of the easiest model and convenient way of writing the damping force. Okay. So what we will do, we will just do the experiment on a building. Okay, or what a structure, and find out how much energy it is dissipating, right? So basically that we are going to find out. Okay. So let's say we have performed that and we have obtained the E star. So that energy dissipated, I am calling this as E star. Okay. So the E star is the energy dissipated again in a cycle of vibration. Okay. In the by after performing the experiment on an actual structure. Okay. I'll write from experiment on an actual structure. Okay, so I will find out how much energy is dissipated. Okay, that you know, right? How to find out the energy dissipation. It is the hysteresis loop. It's called the hysteresis loop from the force deformation relationship. I'll show you the graph. Okay, you might be aware about that the term strain energy, right? Strain energy you might have heard about it. So similar type of thing, the energy dissipation. Okay, so E star, let's say from experiment I have found out, from the actual structure I have found out the energy dissipation. So then this E star, now I will equate this to my expression, this. Okay, that the expression that we have got, 2 pi r zeta k x square. Okay, zeta I will now define as a zeta equivalent. Okay, because what I am trying to do is that if I draw a figure here, so let's say this is my structure, actual structure. Okay, so it has some damping that I do not know. So I am just converting this as a some system with a spring obviously there, okay, that I can find out, but this I do not know. Okay, I'm converting this to this, so I want to find out this. So this is in terms of some zeta equivalent. Although C, C can be find out from the zeta, right? So this I am calling as a zeta equivalent for this structure. Okay, so what we have got, E star is equal to 2 pi r zeta equivalent k x square. E star equals to 2 pi, again forget, r zeta equivalent kx square. Okay, so what is zeta equivalent? So I can write 1 by 2 pi r is gone. Then E star, right? What is remaining? Tell me. K x square. Correct? Okay. Is it right? Correct? Okay. So any doubt here? Any doubt here? Anybody? What I have written zeta equivalent expression? Agree, right? This we have already obtained. We have seen this is the energy dissipated by the viscous damping in one cycle. Now I am from experiment I am finding how much actual structure the energy dissipating. That I obtain, and that is nothing but E star. Let's say. So that the expression is zeta equivalent equal to 1 by 4 pi r E star by half x square. Now what is half k x square? Zeta equivalent equals to 1 by 4 pi r E star divided by half k x square. Okay. What is half k x square? Capital X square. Capital X. What is half k capital X square?
So strain energy versus strain.
Yes. And it is the maximum elastic strain energy, right? Maximum. You see, because X, capital X is there, right? Amplitude. So that is 1 by 4 pi r E star by, I would say ES max, something or whatever. ES max, let's say. Yes. Strain energy, elastic strain energy maximum. So ES max is equals to half k capital X square is the maximum elastic strain energy. Right? Strain energy, force deformation. Force deformation. Okay, we plot X, we plot it. So this is the elastic strain. Elastically going. The area under this is the elastic strain. Right? That you know. So the slope is K basically also. So area is the half K. Okay. So what is that? Yeah. So that is the zeta equivalent. So equivalent damping ratio is 1 by 4 pi r E star by ES max. Okay. Now what do? You do the perform the experiment usually at the resonant condition. Okay. That is at r equals to 1. Because at resonant condition the effective damping will be more, right? That you have already know, right? So that usually you perform the experiment at the resonant condition. So then my expression further reduces to 1 by 4 pi E star by ES max. Okay. These two quantity I will find just from the, we will do the experiment and just plot the force deformation relationship. Let me go back, go to the plot. Okay, can you see it here? Okay. So what we will do, two-step procedure. So that formula we already obtained. Now vibrate the structure at resonant frequency because it has damping has the maximum effect. Okay, measure restoring force and displacement. Plot the restoring force versus displacement during a cycle of vibration. Okay, so they measure it and plot it. You can see, so this is Fs max, maximum force here, capital X, amplitude of the force. So this area, this triangular area is the ES, is the maximum strain energy stored, elastic strain energy, right? Okay. And then, and the area under this curve from the whole, why it is curved like this? Because this is an actual experimental structure. And theoretically, it will be like something like elliptical type, but there will be some curvy faces because of the an actual structure, and we will do the experiment. Okay. So area under this curve is the energy dissipated by the structure during the one cycle, that is the E star, the whole thing. So basically, what I am trying to say is that this is the whole thing inside. This is the ES, sorry, E star, and this one, right? So the maximum is here. So this triangle part is the elastic strain energy stored. Okay, this much is the ES. So I'll just put it here and find out the zeta equivalent. Once I got the zeta equivalent, then we can find out the C, 2m omega and zeta equivalent. Then we can go back to our equation of motion and solve it very easily, that we have already, right? Clear? Yes? So this is another. So how? So what are the methods we have learned so far to finding out the damping ratio? Tell me quickly. Come on. What are the methods we have learned to find out the zeta? Number 1, number 2, C method or any other? What is the first method? Yes. What is the first method you have learned?
Logarithmic decay.
Yes, log decay. Logarithm. Second,
Half by 1.
half power 1. And third is the by energy dissipation, right? Energy dissipation due to viscous damping in a cycle. So these are the three methods we have learned to obtain the damping ratio. Now we'll solve one problem. Okay. The next topic will start next day, tomorrow, that is. So this you can see, this part you can read it. Okay, so this slide I am not discussing, that is, this we have already done, right? ED is this, so I can very easily say that ED is proportional to C, ED is proportional to forcing frequency, and ED is proportional to amplitude, square of the amplitude. Okay. Okay, now we'll solve one problem. It's a very good problem. Try to solve it. You'll find this type of example in books also. Okay. You see, I could have started the next topic. Next topic means the same chapter we are, but let's see some problem need to be solved. It's good for you. Okay, so what is happening here? So it's a very simplest model. One of the simplest models of the car, right? Vehicle. Mass is there, moving at a velocity of v km/h. Okay, it is the suspension system is modeled by a K stiffness, spring stiffness K, and the damping, viscous damping C. Okay, right, and the bump in the road, right? There is bump, so it is idealized as a sinusoidal bump. Okay, with amplitude Y. Okay, perfect. So basically, so what problem it is? Can you tell me? Yes. What problem? Coming under which category? That is what I am trying to ask.
So ground displacement.
Ground displacement, so it is the displacement transmissibility, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so it's a displacement transmissibility problem. So now you understood, just apply the formula and finish it. Okay. So what are the main idea here is that vibrate in the vertical direction, it is vibrating while traveling over a road, rough road surface, varying sinusoidal. So this is an idealization, right? Sinusoidal. Obviously, road is not exactly sinusoidal. Okay, road bump, but we are considering this as a sinusoidal with an amplitude of y equals to 5 centimeter. So it has some wavelength is given. Okay, so y wavelength and speed is given, right? I think v is also given or not? Obviously given. The vehicle speed is this. So from that you can find out one cycle. How much time it requires to travel. How much time period is there in that one cycle. Okay, what is the time period for this cycle? Okay, because that is required. For why it is required? Because you have to know the forcing frequency, right? Because y is some capital Y sin omega t, right? So y is given, right? Amplitude is given. Okay, and then what omega, the forcing frequency basically is not given. So that you have to find out from the velocity of the car and the wavelength that is given. So if 5 centimeter bump on the road is in the road is transmitted as a 5.5 centimeter bump, okay, to the chassis and the passenger of the car. Okay, so that means the passenger feeling an amplified motion. Yeah, so the bracket thing is actually saying that it is an amplified motion is there. So that means there is a magnification is there. So determine the damping ratio of the suspension system. So this is a problem of displacement transmissibility. So the first thing that you have to find out is the omega, that is the forcing response. Once you find out it, just put it there, everything in the transmissibility equation, and just got it. So you understood the problem. Anybody has difficulty in understanding the problem? Anybody has any difficulty in understanding the problem? Please speak out. Okay, if you have, you do not have, then very good. But please speak out. Otherwise, it will be assumed that you have understood everything. So always read the question as many times as possible. Okay? So to understand them, not just quickly go through it and then you will not understand anything and you will find that the problem is very difficult. Okay? See the figure as well as read the question few times at least. Otherwise, you might miss some important information which may be required for the solving the problem. Again, I am repeating the same thing. Please practice problem from books. Just see the solved example of it. Yeah, please tell me if you are facing any difficulties, anybody. And you will find in this case as well as also some other problems that if there is a car type of problem or the suspension type of problem, the damping ratio will not be small damping. Okay, it will be quite large. Okay, because otherwise, if you give the small damping, what will happen to the passenger? You understood, right? So you will not feel comfortable. Right? And also not good for the car also. So that's why damping will be high. Not like structural damping that gets less than 10% or like that, very small damping. Because if in one bump car is going to just oscillate for a long period of time, so this is not good for the passenger also as well as for the safety and longevity of the car. Okay. Yeah, everybody, please do it. Actually, I am doing this in class so that everybody can do it, and if you have any problem, then you can ask me also. Otherwise, I could have given just the problem and you solve it in your own. This will be actually saving of time for me, but let's spend some time on problem at least at the initial stage. Okay. So anybody got the result? What is the damping ratio?
Sir, I got like very high, sir.
Tell me how much?
4.7%.
Huh?
like 54.7%. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. Like, I should make some calculation.
54%, right?
Yes, sir, 54.7.
Yes, that's correct. I just told you, it will not be like a structural damping which is less than 10%. 54, but check the calculation, I don't know, because I calculated, I got 52.6 something, and I
Yes,
was,
sir. I'm getting 50 points.
yeah, I think the solution is, let me check the solution. Here I have written 50%, 0.5 minus 50%. I recently, I just calculated yesterday, I got 52%. So some calculation mistake, or how, I mean, how many digits you are taking, that depends.
Yes, sir. Roots. So because it's a square function, so it can vary.
So you see how high it is. It may be even 60%, 70%. So parts suspension system. Anybody has any difficulty last time I am asking in solving the problem? So this is a displacement transmissibility problem. Okay. So we'll use the formula, that is under root of 1 plus 2 r zeta whole square divided by 1 minus r square whole square plus 2 r zeta whole square. So that is equals to transmissibility. Okay. That is the how much displacement is transmitting, amplitude of the displacement of the mass. Okay. Divided by the amplitude of the base excitation. Okay. So here it is basically 5.5 by 5. Okay. So unit doesn't matter because the same unit will cancel out, right? So 5.5 by 5. On the right hand side, the unknown is r and zeta. So zeta you have to find out. R is the forcing frequency by natural frequency. Okay. Natural frequency is root over of k by m. K is given, m is given, right? M is 1200 kg and k is 400 kilonewton per meter. Be careful about the unit. Okay. Just you have to find out the forcing frequency. So forcing frequency equals to 2 pi by t, right? How will find out t? So t is the time required to travel this on one cycle. Okay. So that is wavelength is given, right? 6 meter. Okay. So and the velocity is given. So from that you can find out how much time it is taking to travel that once. I mean how much time is it for this one cycle is. Okay. So now do the next problem. What is the time? Oh, it's already time is there. So if you want to do it, do it. Those who are busy, they can do it, no problem. Because already its time is over. So I'll be here for 5-6 minutes more. You can do it. This is it will be hardly. It's very simple actually. So can you tell me what is the problem? So I have given the acceleration. So acceleration or displacement doesn't matter here. I mean, if the damping ratio is small, okay, then it is actually not creating any difference. You know, whether acceleration measurement you are taking or the displacement. So what is the problem? Is all about calculate omega n. This is omega n. Okay, omega I mean subscript n. And then it was wrongly come out as omega n. What is this problem all about? Yes. Omega in short equation. Yes. Omega. Correct. Yes. Tell me. Whatever coming in your mind, just tell me. What is this problem? Right, wrong, doesn't matter. Yes.
So it is like for the different frequency, the transmitted acceleration is given.
Yeah. So at different frequency, I got the amplitude of the steady state acceleration amplitude, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Steady state acceleration of different frequency. So then it is asking to find the natural frequency and zeta. Okay. So it is actually from experiments. Someone has done on a structure using vibration generator. So you just try to plot it, na? Plot. I mean, tentatively you plot it. So what kind of plot you are getting? Just a qualitative plot actually. So the first thing is very simple. Natural frequency will when you occur. The result condition, right? Okay, and here to r equal to 1. And so first assume that
Is
the
this like half per bandwidth, like,
huh?
half per bandwidth, like
Yes.
because there is some point where maximum happen,
Yeah,
decrease.
half power bandwidth problem. Correct. Absolutely correct. So half power bandwidth problem to find out the zeta. So omega 1 you can very easily find out, right? So where is the peak? Peak is I can see 8.6. 8.6 is the peak or 8.15? Yeah, 8.6. So it will be 1.487. So 1.487 is the natural frequency. I can say, assuming small damping, and then check whether damping is coming small or not. So omega n is 1.487 because it is maximum amplitude because at the resonant condition, right? If small damping, then it is at the resonant r equal to 1. Otherwise, it is something 1 root over 1 minus 2 zeta square or something, right? Okay. So then you corresponding amplitude is what? 8.6. So come down by come down to scale down or whatever language you used. Okay, 1 by root 2. So that is 8.6 divided by root 2, right? So you get to omega 1 omega 2, right? Remember, this is in frequency, right? Hertz, in hertz, and it is asking in the radian per second. Maybe. So be consistent with it, whatever you do. So then you just find out 2 omega 1 omega 2, and then your zeta will be 2 omega 1 omega 2 minus omega 1 divided by 2 omega n, right? Finish. So you might have to interpolate it, right? So that capital X, that is 8.6 by root 2, the value that might fall in between, right? So you have to linear interpolation you can do and then find out the corresponding frequency. Clear? So basically what I am trying to see is that this, I'll get a plot like this, right? Something like this I got. So this should be omega y, omega n. So here it will be 1 if you got it. So it's a corresponding omega by omega, this value will get as a maximum. So this is 8.60 coming here. Okay. So this is my natural frequency, right? So 8.60. Then come out here. This value should be 8.60 by root. So then you get 2 here, point here and here. If these 2 points are omega 2 and omega 1, then you will get the zeta is equal to omega. This is omega 2. Let's see omega 1. Omega 2 minus omega 9. So these values, these amplitude values after coming down to 1 by root 2, so that may fall, the corresponding frequency you have to find out through some linear interpolation because it may come in between. Let's say it come out as a 7.3. Okay, so then you have to interpolate between these and these. Okay, and another one, let's say it's come out between this and this, 8.15 and 7.60. So then you have to interpolate between these two frequency to get omega k. Understood?
Sure, but for this question, like omega is not given, sir. So how will it be? Because like
Omega. What?
Zeta and omega are not given, sir. So we have to calculate, but we know only omega 2 and omega 1.
Zeta, what you are saying? Omega?
So like omega n and zeta has to be found in with the given data. So like, but only omega 2 and omega 1, like we can find using this frequency and acceleration like this curve. So like there is like 2 unknowns.
You are saying, you are asking how to find out natural frequency?
Sir, like here we have to calculate, so like calculate omega n and zeta.
I couldn't understand now your question. What is your question?
So like in the question they give calculate omega n and zeta the structure. And using this values we can find omega 2 and omega 1.
Yeah.
So like with that, like zeta equal to omega 2 minus omega 1 by 2 omega n.
Yeah.
So like we know omega 2 and omega 1, but we don't know zeta and omega n. So how can we find it?
No, omega n we know na. I just told omega n is the resonant condition, right? So where the peak is there, corresponding this point is the omega n. Nothing to do. Understood? The
Okay.
peak will occur at the resonant condition, right? I mean, for small damping, it is actually not r equals to root over 1 minus 2 zeta square or something, I forget, maybe something like that. But let's say zeta is small, and you check it whether zeta is coming small or not, then you can do one iteration also.
Okay.
So r equal to 1, it will be the maximum, right? Peak amplitude will occur here, right? Peak. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
So what value of zeta is getting? Or no one has done it? Okay, I think the time is over maybe. Okay, so I have to leave. Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow at 12:30. Okay. So try to solve this problem. It's not very difficult. Okay, fine.